Hello Art fam, welcome back to the channel. Noah here. Today we have my toy haul from Captain Jack's toy shop slash comic book shop in Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. They also have ice cream and pancakes and tea, but it's a really cool comic book shop mainly. So first things first, I picked up this Masters of the Universe Funko Dorbs Mossman and Beastman vinyl 2-pack. As you can see, the Mossman is actually flocked. Let's see if this will make a glare. A little bit of a glare, but you can see the flocking there. There's the Beastman. Here we have artwork of the character on the side. The back view of the characters. As you can see, Beastman has his Filmation style fur and artwork of Mossman on the other side. So that's pretty cool. These are my first Dorbs that I've picked up. There's also a Dorbs Jaga at a toy shop near me that I'm going to be picking up soon for my Thundercats collection. But that's pretty cool. Moving down, you can obviously see that I also got a 3-pack with Trapjaw, Scareglow, and Spycore. Bring Scareglow in closer. Here's a look at his sculpt. Overall, he looks really cool. He is glow in the dark. That's the main reason I'm shining the light directly on him, is that I can light him up here in just a second. Here we have Spycore. Of course, the details on the chest is just painted, not sculpted, but he looks cool. Trapjaw also looks really cool, and they did do a custom arm for that character as for Spycore, because he has his trident arm. On top, you have the Masters of the Universe logo, just like on the other one. Moving to the sides, you have artwork of all 3 characters. On the back, you just get a look at the character's rear view. Other side, same artwork. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the light and see if I can get this guy to glow. Here we have Scareglow glowing inside of the packaging. There's how that looks, pretty cool. Turning that around, you can also see the glow from the back side. So overall, really cool look for Scareglow. Here we have the Funko Soda Tongue Lashor. I've been wanting to get into collecting the Funko Soda figures for a long time, and haven't. But I saw this Tongue Lashor, and he was cheap, and I could not resist. I've been wanting to pick up the Tongue Lashor Funko Pop for a while, and somebody in my family actually bought the one that I was planning to buy from a local toy shop, and it is now part of their collection instead of mine, so I'm still looking for the Funko Pop version, but this is another awesome Funko figure overall. As you can see, here's the packaging. It's an actual aluminum can, but it's a thicker aluminum than an average soda can. So there's how that looks. And here's the cardboard art cutout that comes with it. As you can see, it's copyright 2021 Mattel. On the back side, you see that this is part of the Funko Soda figure collection. Tongue Lashor, this is one of 8,400. So, he's not very rare, I don't think, but he's really cool. Here you can see I picked up several vintage figures from Masters of the Universe, as well as a vintage Mum-Ra. I simply picked up the Mum-Ra because the guy let me film in his shop, and I thought that was really nice of him. And I already had a Mum-Ra in my collection, so I sold the one from his shop actually already. This is my Mum-Ra that I already had in my collection, but exact same figure. They both had the same amount of damage on the hands and everything, so it was nothing too special about the other one. So here's how that looks. I'm sure you've all seen one before. I picked up a vintage complete Grizzlord. That's actually my third Grizzlord figure. I had one Grizzlord that just had the chest armor and no crossbow, and I had one that had no armor and no crossbow. So now I have a complete one for my collection, so that's pretty cool. And I also needed these Horde armors anyway for customs. So I traded my Grizzlord that had no armor along with an X-Men figure for a Grizzlord that had armor but no weapon at a different toy shop. And then I am trying to sell my other Grizzlord that now has no armor because I took it away. Here we have a vintage complete Beastman. As you can see, the big gem whip is back there. It is tied into, I think, 7 knots if counted. But I'm not going to try and untie that because I don't want to somehow damage the rope. I did do a little bit of extra painting on the nose, but overall, his face paint was almost perfect. I already had a Beastman, but since this one had his shoulder pads, even though this one snapped, since he had his shoulder pads, I wanted to pick him up anyway. I also picked up this trap jaw that's near complete. He has his gun, his belt, and his claw accessory. As you can see right there, he did not have his hook, but that's fine with me. I had a different trap jaw before, but he broke due to the brittle plastic that he is made with, and he had no belt, and he had no accessories, so I'm happy to have this new one. A really good paint overall. In this video, I'm actually just going to show off the things I got on vacation so that I don't have to make 2 separate videos. But right now I'm focusing on the Captain Jack stuff. I also picked up this vintage Mosquitor. No gun, sadly, but I didn't have a vintage Mosquitor, so I was really excited to pick this guy up. Leg bands are a little bit loose on some of these characters, but he sold them with stands. Every single one of them came with stands, but since Beastman and Grizzlord have good leg bands, I decided to just go ahead and take the stands away and use them on other characters that I had that needed the stands. And in fact, this Beastman is actually a combination of the 2 Beastman figures I had. The head and the armor and the weapon is from the Captain Jack's figure. And the chest, I think, possibly. No, the head, the armor, and the whips from the Captain Jack's one, and the left arm. But the torso is from my other Beastman that I already had, and the right arm is from my other Beastman. Since the things were damaged with the 2 figures, I just mixed and matched until I got a perfect Beastman for my collection. If I ever find one that's in absolute perfect condition, I might trade this one out. But for now, my favorite He-Man villains, Trapjaw and Beastman, are looking pretty cool. Moving on. At Captain Jack's, I also picked up this comic book from Thundercats for $5. Cool comic book. I'm not a big fan of this actual series for Thundercats. I read it. It wasn't a very great book overall, but still glad to have it. The illustrations were not very good in my opinion. I also came in during a free comic book day on one of my visits to Captain Jack's, and he had a certain amount of comic books that were free, and I picked up this nice Superman comic book. And as you guys should know, I'm a pretty big Superman fan, as you guys can tell by all of that over there. So I was excited to pick up this comic book as another Superman comic book for my collection. Haven't read the Superman one yet. Just read a few pages, but I'll get to it someday soon. Pretty cool. Speaking of Superman, I picked up a special edition Warner Brothers Superman the Movie Christopher Reeves Superman VHS sealed for my collection. I've already seen the movie, but I was excited to find a sealed version of the VHS. I actually have a VHS player, so if I had this guy loose right now, or this movie loose, I should say, I could play it, but I'm going to keep it sealed just in case the value goes up one day. That'll wrap it up for the Captain Jack's side of my vacation toy haul, but I'm going to also show off the other characters as I mentioned before. Whilst on vacation, my uncle, who was still here locally in North Carolina, he picked up some vintage figures for me. Amongst those was this vintage Evil Lyn. He also picked up this wrestler in the red shorts and red knee pads. This wrestler in the red pants. He didn't pick up this one. He picked up this character with the red and black face and the guy with the blue jeans. Whilst on vacation, I also picked up these Cartoon Collection Faker figures. Why two, you might ask? Well, these boots are more cartoon accurate than the first release He-Man for the Cartoon Collection. So I decided to pick this one up, because I wanted more Filmation accurate boots. Also, this makes a more angry He-Man. And also, I have not found the Wave 1 He-Man. I also picked up this Leech, as you should have saw on my Target toy haul vacationing in Hilton Head Island video that I made. Leech is on the thumbnail if you want to go check that out. I also picked up this Hot Wheels Premium Pop Culture Masters of the Universe Vintage Artwork Van 66 Dodge A100 Real Riders Edition, metal to metal. So that's pretty cool. I'm not a big Hot Wheels collector, but as you can see, I collect Masters of the Universe, Thundercats, and Turtles Hot Wheels merch. I also picked up this He-Man vs. Skeletor Hot Wheels Racerverse 2-pack, featuring He-Man and the Wind Raider and Skeletor on the Land Shark. This is kind of like a Mario Kart meets He-Man crossover style thing. I'm a big fan of the Racerverse. Plan to pick up the Ninja Turtles and He-Man ones. Possibly some of the Spider-Man ones. And then I also picked up the single card He-Man. The artwork's different, of course, because this actually has the Racerverse artwork, whereas this has Origins-inspired artwork. While I was at the beach is also when my uncle ordered this figure for me. I just got him recently and did a review on him, so that's when I ordered him.
So that wraps it up for my overall toy haul from Captain Jack's and other stores on Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. I hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Peace.